Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Beat the Clock podcast. My name is Michelle Rubio-Garcia, and I am here to help you grow. Through the many timed interviews I'll be having, all guests will answer 4 time-specific questions. 1, who were you? 2, who are you? 3, who will you be? And 4, how can listeners avoid clocking out? By answering these questions honestly, we hope to show you how each moment connects to the next, so that you can begin your journey to find your passion, purpose, and growth. Whether they are entrepreneurs or thought leaders, all are invited to sit down, chat with me, and show you a realistic depiction of success. By doing so, we hope to change your mind and empower you to beat the clock.
What are you waiting for?
Hey guys, if you didn't skip around, you know I am Michelle, this is Beat the Clock, and you are on episode 7, so thank you so much for streaming this. Can we just take a moment real quick to appreciate the podcast glow up that is the new intro? If you're a returning listener, I hope you noticed, and I want to take some time really quickly to stress why that happened. So I'm going to tell you, I said yes to starting a podcast, and then I was just emulating what I loved. So my 2 favorite podcasts are Conan Needs a Friend by Conan O'Brien, obviously, and then Getting Better by Ron Funches. I love those 2 podcasts. And they broke protocol slightly, and they would do their theme song first, and then they would go into their quote-unquote intros. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I prefer the standard more now that I'm in the process of creation. So the standard is you have that little clip pre-recorded the way you just heard. And I love that because, honestly, I got annoyed of repeating myself. I got annoyed of repeating the questions. I got annoyed of having to record it multiple times. And pre and post production, guys, I don't think you realize what you hear is not a one take thing. I had to cut, re-record, do all kinds of crazy stuff, and I just wanted to streamline it. So I had to kind of have that honest conversation with myself and be like, maybe I do like the standard. It's there for a reason, and that's okay, guys. You can play, and then you can decide, I don't want to play like that. That's totally fine. You find your process. You find what works for you. That's what Beat the Clock is all about. Not everybody's going to have the same formulaic equation for success, but it's all about finding what works for you. And so for me, I thought, let me do that. And that is going to be so much better for me. So really quickly, in episode 7, I want to go ahead and introduce this amazing good human. That's what I dubbed him. His name is Colin Heaney. He is a native of Syracuse, New York, and he has always gone against the grain. From failing 9th grade twice and dropping out of high school, nobody would have thought that he would be named one of the top 10 entrepreneurs of 2020 by Yahoo Finance in such a short amount of time. Just in this year alone, Colin has rocked the online sales and marketing industry. From developing his own social media growth agency and training hundreds of people in sales, he is changing the game for many individuals. Colin's mission is to mold multiple young entrepreneurs into the best they can be. So I'm super thankful. He is the COO of Mineset, and I'm really glad that our paths crossed because we're kind of on the same wavelength in terms of how we want to help people. So I hope you enjoy our little conversation, and we'll find out if Colin beats the clock.
Alrighty, and the timer starts now. Welcome, Colin Heaney. How are you?
I'm outstanding. It's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
So as you know, Beat the Clock podcast is a timed podcast. We kind of root ourselves on 4 questions, but we will ultimately be poking your brain. So something that I want to say before we start is thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I Googled entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you why I chose you in a bit, but I was just super gravitated towards you, and honestly, like, you have no business here, but I'm so happy that you decided to do this because you're just a force to be reckoned with, and I really think that in my part of the country where I'm at, people need to see you. And like, you're a testimony that needs to be shared. So something that I showed you your ad already. I put good human in parentheses, right? And so I want to tell you why. Regardless of the labels that everybody else has given you, you've made a name for yourself. So I didn't want to add to that, right? And I'm a teacher myself. So on behalf of all those teachers that put you down, I'm sorry they were shitty to you. Teachers told you maybe that you were not good enough. Maybe people were doubting you with Instagram. You know, you have completely just taken it upon yourself to carve out your own life. And I just admire you so much. So I didn't want to add anything other than he's good and he's just human. Because when I was looking through the Instagram feed for somebody to interview, you said in one of your posts, I will help anyone.
Yeah. Sure.
And that to me was so powerful. And I was like, you know, this guy really could just say, fuck the world. And you are here with me. And that's evidence that you're willing to talk the talk and walk the walk.
Yep. I'll talk to anybody. I don't care.
Would you say that humility is what's made you successful?
It's a huge part of it. I mainly strive off of humility, integrity, and work ethic mainly.
Awesome. And again, you are in it to win it. I know that you're going to go far right now. You're based out of, you were born and bred, in Syracuse, right? New York?
Yes, Syracuse, New York.
And then now you're in Hawaii right now?
Yeah, right now.
And then you said you wanted to go to Maine. So you're all over the place, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. I hate staying in one place. I also like to meet the people that I talk to. So I want to go to Florida, Maine, Texas, everywhere. It doesn't matter where.
Yeah, we're going to meet for sure one day. I mean, I don't know what time, but I know it's going to happen. And I'm not going to forget about you because I know that this thing's also going places. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
And some people, as soon as they taste a little bit of that, they drop everybody. And we're here to help each other out. I'm totally anti-fame, but I am pro-success. So there's a difference there. So let's just jump right in. Tell us about yourself and who you were before this moment.
Okay. So obviously my name is Colin, and I'm from Syracuse. So prior to me starting up a business, I dropped out of school in 9th grade. I failed in 9th grade twice, and pretty much from that point, I knew that it was completely up to me because everybody else saw me as a failure. So I needed to create success for myself. So I tried everything. I tried e-commerce, I tried trading, I tried admin work, and nothing worked until I found my true passion, which was assisting others in finding success for themselves. So I would try and help them prior to helping myself, because even when I had like 400 in my checking account, I mean, I would help them make 1,000 prior to anything I made. And then that's when I found Instagram as well. I was networking probably 12 hours a day because I hated where I was at. So I talked to people that had what I wanted. And that's when everything changed. I found my partners that I currently create everything with. And basically, the more people you meet, even if it's the wrong person, they're going to help you find the right person.
I totally agree. So again, it's going back to that humility that you really stride in or excel with. So kind of just knowing your place, right? But still having the awareness to reach up. So how did you conquer that fear?
I've never had fear. I guess it kind of went out of my system when I dropped out, because that's when I was like, shit, I'm deep. And that was like a low point in my life because I had anxiety, stress, and basically a big rabbit hole of just negative emotions. And then after I dropped out, everything was gone. My fear was only not proving myself to the people that created that negativity in me. And then after that, it's all uphill. So.
Yeah, that's what I like to say. I kind of like being at the bottom. When I got a dance team that I eventually coached to a national title, I was at the bottom and everybody was saying, what the hell are you doing there? And then when you're the underdog, you can work in silence and you can do whatever you want and there's no expectation. So anything you do looks like a victory. And it's a really nice spot. Like once you're at the top, there's a new challenge and you have to maintain that. But the climb up doesn't have to be scary because no one's watching. People are just looking over you. And then here you go, boom, and you show up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool because,
Go ahead.
No, keep on going. It's completely fine.
I'm interviewing you. You go. They hear enough of me.
Okay. Yeah. So like on my ride up, there was a lot of like doubt, and then like once I first made like money online, everyone's like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" And it's all from just working in silence and just not telling anybody anything, because if you tell somebody what you're going to do, they expect that. So if you don't tell them anything, then every win, every success that you have, they are going to just it's like a punch in the face almost. It's like boom.
Yes,
boom,
right. There's so much more power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like. I'm not much of like a outgoing person to show other people that I am winning. Social media is enough of that. So it's just like, I don't know how to put it, but people are going to watch every single day.
Right. And like I read one time, it said, not everybody may like your story or react to it, but it tells you how many viewers there are.
Yeah.
So somebody's always watching. So you gotta stay on high alert.
Absolutely.
So something that I want to add. So I spoke to somebody earlier today. She was in Oregon, and she had like a slow way to success, but that was her method. And I feel like yours was a lot faster. You're on the opposite end of the spectrum, and it just escalated really fast for you. So did you plan that speed, or was it something that was accidental?
No, I was planning on just staying, not in one place, but like staying at like a certain level for quite some time, because like I was trying to break through like every single day. And then basically what I do with my clients is I onboard them, and then I'm like, all right, I want 3 references that you think I could also help. And then once I started doing that method every single time, I mean, I got like 10, 20, 30 leads a day. And then that's when everything just broke out. So it ties back to networking, because if you are having other people tell other people about you, then your network is expanding so quickly. And I think that's why everything took off so fast.
And so it was strategic, but you had, like you're saying, no set endpoint, and it just kind of blew out of the water?
No expectations at all. And
I feel like you're being honest and pointing out you have to have that bravery to start, but who's to say where it's going to end up?
Yeah. I was never afraid to go broke, honestly, because I mean, sometimes that is your best teacher. If you can learn from your failures in your past, then you're not going to mess up again. And like I did go broke 2, 3, 4 times, except every time it was like, all right, what could I have changed? What could I have done better? And that's where all of my lessons were.
Yeah, and I feel like that desperation gets you in that creative space, and you start asking the right questions. And I didn't tell you this, but I'm writing a book about kind of everything that I'm finding out with these people, and including yourself. And it's crazy because everything, I have most of it done already, but everything you're saying, it's like you're proof of that. Like you're a living, breathing person that like doesn't set a ceiling, that adapts and all of that. So I'm really proud of you. I know maybe someone doesn't tell you, but
I'm a normal guy.
Yeah. So. And I want to tell everybody, for those of you that may not know Colin, how old are you?
I'm 20.
And then how many followers do you have?
120,000.
Right. And this is like insane, you know, and people may not think this is possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so crazy to think that all of it happened in less than a year. 1 year ago, I mean, I was just trying like everybody else. So everybody's got their time. Time needs to catch up though. So if it's not happening quickly, just, I mean, keep on going harder and harder and harder. Expand your network. I cannot preach that enough to anybody. If it wasn't for the people that I met and connected with, like I was sending 100, 200 messages a day to people that I thought would never even talk to me. And
That's what happened with me and you.
Everything changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
and
a matter
of I told my husband, I was like, he's crazy, right? Like, this is not real. And then I told my best friend, and she's like, dude, he said yes. I'm like, yeah. Like, all you gotta do is throw your name out there, and eventually somebody that's good-natured will follow, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like there's like this mentality of like threat or fear. Like, the people that are successful to me, all are willing to share, all are willing to collaborate. And I feel like you stay stuck or you stay broke because you keep stuff to yourself, and you're too scared to share it because you're scared that they're going to steal it. And that's sometimes the case, but more often than not, among successful people, we all know the grind and we all just want to help each other out.
Yeah. Like, I'm not scared of anybody taking anything away from me, because if they're honest, genuine, and have integrity, they're going to want to win together. Everything happens together. Like, if I introduce a person to massive success, then I obviously know them well enough to know that they're not going to turn on me and just like say, all right, peace. So like, I want everybody to win as a team. And that's how I operate. I can't speak for everybody else, but how I operate is like, all right, let's win together. Or, I mean, you're not my person, so.
You're not my team. No, yeah, and even like fears for me, like, I knew you were so young, and I'm 29, but I'm a teacher right now, and I thought that the stability of teaching was going to give me happiness, and everybody told me to go that route. And even before the pandemic, this pandemic just kicked it into high gear, right? But even before the pandemic, I was like, there's more to this. Like, is this going to be 30 years of my life? Like, I love these kids. They're cool. Okay. But this can't be it, you know? And so reaching out to you, I was like, there was a part of my pride kicking in. And I was like, he's younger. Like, I was that like super lame girl in high school that was like, I'm not going to talk to underclassmen. Like, I was that girl at one point. But the older you get, the older you realize those are all just issues of pride again, and how that's really going to hold you back. So I was like, whatever, let me just reach out to him. And again, like hitting this second win, so to speak, and trying to get another career out of it, it's really like in just 2 weeks, teaching me so much more than I learned over the past 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
And,
my mom's a teacher.
And how did she react when you decided to drop out?
Oh, it was a mess. My father is in the Army. My mom's a teacher. So it was like a 1-2 punch, like absolutely not. But like everybody's got a certain mentality, at least people that work do, that like school is a stepping stone to life. And then college is like another stepping stone to life. And then if you don't have either of those, then all right, you're probably going to work in fast food or a waiter or a garbage man. I mean, that's like most people's mentality that I talk to every day. But I mean, why I was so driven and motivated to take out that social standard is so I can prove it to young entrepreneurs or people like you who are taking a separate route. Because I have nothing against people who are in a 9-to-5. I totally I love it, but I want everybody to love their everyday life. And if you're not, that's an issue. And I want to solve that issue for you.
So let's jump into the next question. And it is, who are you now? So you're talking a lot about your
Okay.
product. And before we talk about it, I want to say your role in it. So you're the COO, correct?
Yes, one of them.
Okay, cool. And I love, again, how your product is a natural extension of who you are as a person, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where the best work comes from. I think when you, again, do work that somebody else told you to do,
Right.
there's a different sort of effort level than when it's coming from your heart and from something that you really believe in. So you want to talk about your company?
For sure. So I am the COO of a company called Mineset. And Mineset is a program where we basically coach you on life, your mindset, and who you can be as a person. We basically take in clients who are having everyday issues in life with either their mentality or self-doubt or succumbing to social standards from peers or parents or friends or spouses even. And we basically coach you on how to live the life you want to live every day. Because I believe if you're not living how you want every single day, and if you're not happy, then it's not fair to you to keep on going every day in that specific life. So it's a 90-day program. You get customized meals, life coaching with my partner out there. And he basically takes you from A to Z, and you basically come out a brand new person.
And so do you use data to inform that kind of success rate? Like, do you take surveys, or what's the approach there?
Yes. So prior to you even entering, you fill out a certain survey, and it's a 20-question survey, and it basically tells us everything in your life. It tells us your religion, your age, name, gender, weight, height, your diet, and basically everything that is about you. So prior to even coming to us, we know exactly who you are, your issues, and basically what you want every day.
And I mean, a lot of people would maybe not even feel comfortable filling that sort of information out. So it's very,
sure.
it's very, I guess, invasive to some people. But
Yeah.
again, you're that invasive because you're that intentional. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
That's the best part. And if a person does not want to fill it out, it's completely fine. I would jump on a call with you just like I am now, and I would ask you those questions, but I would first talk to you about, like, all right, who I am, and basically the person I was prior to I am now. So I love talking to people, just getting personal, honestly. It's so foreign every day now, and it's so sad too.
Agreed. And like, I read somewhere once that like everybody wants connection, but nobody wants vulnerability, right? Like we want everybody to reach out, but then when they do, we put up all these social standards, all these maybe rules of etiquette, and we distance ourselves.
Yeah, it's a mask. It's
Yeah.
bad.
And so you help break that mask, right? That would be a good way to say what you do. And again, I think that you doing something like that, because I'm telling you, like, some people that hear this in my city, they're gonna go, nah, that's ridiculous. Like, they're gonna be so close-minded about something like that. But what I'm trying to do with this podcast is kind of show people another way, because you saying that to yourself is just you stopping yourself from growth. It's insecurity.
Yeah,
And
it's not fair to anybody.
yeah, and I feel like when you are your best self, I feel like you can serve everybody else better, and then it becomes like a momentum shift wherever you're at.
Yeah, I just want everybody to operate at a higher frequency in life, and whether people think it's possible or not, it is, because I've taken people from literally nothing. They were at the complete bottom, just pulling in like 200 a week. And then our program is not about money at all. But once you operate at a higher frequency and see your true potential, not only is your life, your mentality, your spirituality going to go up, your financial life is also going to come up too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put in my notes, and I'll show you. Because I put basically your product, it nurtures trust and confidence in the self. And because of that, all of those tangible things that you mentioned, money, fame, whatever they're seeking, it comes naturally. Like functioning on that higher frequency that you're talking about just allows all of that to come. It's a natural byproduct. Do you agree?
Absolutely. 100%. Like I normally need to explain this to a ton of people, but you're catching right on. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Again, the pandemic gave me a lot of time to myself. And for so many years, I was busy, and I was busy on everybody else. Yeah. But then this pandemic kind of forced me to address myself. And so by myself, I had to, like, for example, I joined Orange Theory. You know that gym? Everybody knows that gym by now, right? So I joined that because my excuse in the beginning was, there's no way I'm going to be motivated. Like, I need somebody on my ass, whatever. But then the pandemic, it shut it down. So what was I going to do with that? Am I just going to continue making that excuse? Right. And so I started this like workout little group. It's just 3 of us, and we would invite somebody, you know, just to kind of plant the seed. And after we did workouts 5 times a week, for 6 weeks. And I had never done that without any external pressure in my life. Yeah. And so tapping into that discipline taught me that there's discipline that I could be exercising everywhere else. And if I just dig a little deeper and scratch beneath that surface, I'm going to find a lot of information. So, I mean, that led to discovering you, that led to discovering the other woman that I interviewed earlier. Right. I mean, it's just when you're curious, all of it kind of opens up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It all starts with just certain curiosities about yourself, or it starts with just, I would say, somebody being uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, you're probably going to want solutions. So people try and find solutions, but then people push everything away because it's not going to work. It's too expensive. It's unusual for just in everyday life. So people have a ton of excuses, but eventually they're going to be so uncomfortable that they're going to just need to find a solution. And that's why people come to us.
Yeah. So, I mean, that sounds really spiritual to me too. Like it's only at a point of desperation or darkness where you try to seek light, right? Yeah. And you get comfortable in like maybe bad lighting, so to speak, if we're using that metaphor. And then when they really dim the lights all the way down, that's when you're like, wait, what happened? And you need to turn something on to get that vision back, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like when people come to us, it's mainly about relationships and money. Even though our program's it's not about money. More about trying to switch your mindset to just be a more outgoing, just happy you. And the way that we take it is we basically create an outline for you from first 2 weeks to 2 to 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and so on. And every week is about something new. But to follow up, we also check in about the past weeks as well. So basically, we make you so uncomfortable with your situation that you actually change it naturally. Because if you're not going to the gym every day, we're going to put you in there every single day until you want to go back every day. And that's when change happens. So same thing with spirituality. We're going to give you a few reads and you're going to dive in a couple chapters a day, and then you're going to read every day. And then it's a cycle over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everybody that I've interviewed so far has talked about accessing the right information and reading.
Mm-hmm. That's what changed me. Yeah. I hated reading. I was a kid in school where if I was in English class and if I had a project on a book, that project never happened. So it's just life lessons that teach you the absolute best. I was never an advocate for formal education. And me personally, I'm still not.
Right.
I don't think that's going to change. So I believe in self-education. So self-education you can find everywhere. It's in an everyday life. If you mess up, that's a lesson. But I also recommend certain books that helped me. And then I can talk about those later, but those changed my life.
I just it's still ringing in my head because I watched it like 3 days ago. Have you watched Bruce Lee's Be Water documentary?
Not yet, no. I'll have to, here, I can take a note.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's on ESPN.
Okay.
And he said exactly what you said. All knowledge is self-knowledge.
All right. Bruce Lee what?
Be Water.
Be Water. All right.
Yeah, it's like super, super good. And like, it's crazy that someone who was that in tune with himself, he died at 32. I didn't know that. I don't really follow Bruce Lee. My husband made me watch it. But when I saw that documentary, I was like, this is going to really influence the podcast more than I wanted it to. Because it's true. All of us, like, that's what I was talking about with another one of our male guests. So even if everybody gets the same information, you interpret it differently.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And like when we're all navigating together and you're talking about people and relationships, they're going to absorb your information and apply it in different ways. And you're going to teach it a different way than maybe one of your colleagues. And then it's going to cause more magic.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't do any of the teaching except the financial teaching. My business partner teaches everything else, from mindset to spirituality. I do financials because that's my strength. And then everything else is through him, and he's amazing at what he does. I've never met anybody like him. It's so cool.
And again, just through Instagram, right?
Yeah, everything is through IG. It's crazy. Like I would never expect a social media platform to connect so many people on so many levels. Like everyday people scroll all day long for no reason. It's like a mental need or like a fixation that so many people just completely waste. Like I scroll because I'm trying to find new people to talk to and just teach and help. But some people are just scrolling all day to just like take everything off of their minds. And that's completely the wrong reason.
Right. Like I feel like the pandemic really made that a game changer for me, because before I didn't have time to even look at my phone because I was so busy, right? And now I have an excess of time. I'm not used to that. So I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I was like, after a while, I caught myself getting into that habit because I saw it everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what am I going to do to make this positive? Because there's no way I'm going to be mindlessly scrolling. I mean, I would preach it in class because it would make me sad in classes. If I gave the students 10 minutes of free time at the end of the lesson, they would be on their phones. They don't even talk to each other. And that would make me so sad. And I'm like, I'm falling into that. I'm becoming a zombie. I'm becoming a drone. And I was like, how am I going to do it better? And so you're right. The internet is just a complete game changer. Like hashtags even. Those could be used with so much power. That's how I found you. I found you just using a hashtag.
What hashtag?
Entrepreneur.
All right.
Or something like that. I don't know. Or I put male entrepreneurs, I think, because again, this podcast, like, it has some pink in it or whatever, but the target audience is not just females. I'd like to think it's millennials, and it's anybody who, again, is in that second win of their life and just has that one question, like, is there more? And this podcast is exploring that.
Yeah, I love it. absolutely.
And it's crazy. I looked through a few, but then I was like, there's all these people I could talk to, and I never knew it. And then when you reached out, it was like a light bulb went off. I was like, I just need to start messaging everybody. And right now, I think he's gonna call me later, but I'm talking to somebody who just released a TED Talk, and he's a wheelchair athlete, and he's talking about how comparisons among each other kill your inner self.
Yeah, those are very dangerous, very dangerous. Thankfully, I've never had any issues with that. I kind of like to stay in my own lane. But I think if you compare yourself to somebody else, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you are not them. Like, your overall goal in life is not what theirs is. So why compare yourself to anybody else? But when I was younger, and in school, I was like, all right, I'm in a classroom, and like everybody else is out there actually like living it. So that's another reason why I dropped out, because I knew I could take a next step and actually chase after them, rather than sit in a classroom and learn something I'm never probably going to use.
You don't have to keep tiptoeing around that, because I'm a teacher. Like, it's fine.
I don't want to like push any like negativity out, but I mean, I'm not to
See your Instagram stories. I see the Instagram stories. Right. I know how you feel.
I went on a rampage like 3 days ago, and I just ripped up school and education. I don't know why. I was in the mood. So.
And I mean, like, even me, I'm getting a PhD right now, but I had to take a year off between the master's and the PhD, because
Wow.
I'm starting
to.
I'm starting
Okay.
Yeah. But I had to wait a little bit, because I needed to assess if I was doing it for the right reasons. Was I doing it just for those 3 letters?
Right.
And potentially getting myself into massive debt, and potentially not getting the experience I wanted. Like, it had to be from within, and it had to be something that was going to challenge my mind. I wanted the mental stimulation, and that's not for everybody, like you're saying. But I like to think abstractly, and I like to like create stuff. Like, this is an extension of that. So everybody has to find whatever way it is. For you, you're super anti-school. Live that life. That's you. And for me, honestly, now that I'm starting this, I don't know that I'll use my PhD in the traditional sense. Like, usually you want to teach at a university. That may happen, but I'm open to the possibilities of something else.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I respect the hell out of you, because, I mean, I don't know many people with PhDs at all, but I think I know 2 of them, and I mean, everybody's killing it. So especially like if you're a doctor, or I'm not sure if you want to be a professor, but that's pretty cool. I love it.
I mean, like, I know that because I'm Mexican, right? So I think, I don't know, I'm going to butcher these statistics, but it's super small. It's like 10% of Latina women have a master's degree. And then like, it's like 2 or 0.2% of Latinas have a PhD. So again, it's about hitting those dimensions that people are going to tell you, for what? Like, you don't need it. And everyone told me all the time, even for my master's degree, they were like, you're done, you're fine, you have a job, like, stop. I was even like, I love to travel. So someone even told me, now I feel bad because I like her, but she was like, stop traveling. You've seen enough places. You need to have a baby. And I was like,
I don't want kids.
So that's what I was going to ask. That bleeds nicely into the future. So I was going to ask you if you wanted a family, but you kind of already answered that, right?
I want a wife, but like if I had 2, 3 of like tiny me's, I'd lock them in a closet until they're 18 and then tell them.
So so you want to be somebody in the future who's married?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yes.
Maybe 1 kid. 1. No, that's fine. Live your life. I'm not here to tell you.
If it's gonna happen, it'll be after 30.
Yeah, I'm about to be 30. I'm 29. And everybody's, again, applying some pressure. And I'm like, guys, there's no way. Not yet. There's absolutely no way. I don't care if my womb is forming spider webs. Do whatever you want. Say whatever you want. I'm going to do me.
Right. You are married though, right?
I am.
Okay. Yeah. Like I'm about to turn 21 on July 1st, and like I can't even think about like marriage yet because it's just like I'm traveling, I'm starting everything up. Like I'm not even like completely started yet, it feels like. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, and some of my students, which I've only been teaching for like 6 years, some of my students already are getting married and getting pregnant, and I'm like, do you know, like, do you know there's a lot? I mean, no judgment, right, to anybody, but
Yeah.
if you hold on a little longer, there's so much there. So I guess that's where we're gonna try to land this plane because there's about 8 minutes left. So do you think it's possible to have the dream and the ideal relationships? Because people make it seem like you have to choose between them.
Um like a couple months ago I was in a relationship. I still am. But like once everything took off, there's a lot of tension because I had a lot of expectations that I set for myself. And since I am signed on to like an actual company now, like legally, I need to live up to those expectations because like I've got financial expectations, I've got personal expectations, and I've also got the business expectations, which are huge because if I don't meet those, I can't even live because like everything is tied to my business. So I would say if you are going to get into a relationship or if you are in one, there needs to be a standard set. Like she or he is either going to support you and help you create the business, or you need to part ways because if they don't support you, then that's going to affect you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and it's going to add negativity in your life. Your partner needs to complement you. If they don't complement you, then it's not meant to be.
Yeah, and I love that you keep mentioning spirituality because honestly, I think a lot of the issues everybody's facing is more spiritual than physical.
100%. Yeah. Like the reason why we wake up every day and live is because of emotions and energy. That's something my program talks about a lot is energy, because like everybody is always feeling some way, and it's off of emotion and energy and vibes and everything that wraps around that. It's a big circle. I don't want to go too far into it because we are kind of pressed on time.
Yeah, it's okay. So let's just wrap it up. That was like my final probing question. But the question of the podcast is finally, how can listeners avoid clocking out? Because again, everybody goes on autopilot. Everybody just does whatever they're told. How can they break out of that? And how can they live the life that they want?
Don't succumb to social standards. If somebody's telling you to do something, and if it's not what you want to do, or if it's not what aligns with your purpose and passion, don't do it. Another thing is the reason why I'm here is because I looked at the masses and I did the complete opposite. I saw 99% of all people just living an everyday life, like on like a schedule. 6 a.m. wake up, 7 o'clock work, 5 o'clock come home, eat, watch TV. I did the opposite of that. I created my own schedule and I basically clocked out in 9th grade.
And so I guess another question I want to throw in there, just because I want to hear your advice on it. A lot of people think that it's like a nonstop grind, but I think you do have to play, right? You work hard to play harder. And people think it's this like tedious climb, but you can definitely rest and have fun. I mean, you're doing it right now, right?
Yeah. I basically created my life a vacation. I make more money when I travel. And like a lot of people think like entrepreneurship, you're grinding from 3 a.m. to like 3 p.m. No. At first, absolutely. But
Yeah.
after everything is set in stone, running, you've got awesome people around you, you can take time off, like not weeks or months, but like you can take time off and you create your own schedule. That is why you like started entrepreneurship, to live everything and every day the way you want. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I took 10 hours to edit the first podcast episode just because it was me and just because I had no knowledge. Like, I swear, I just said, I'm going to do a podcast. And then I said, I've been putting it off because it's been in my head. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to set a date. That's it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was going to do it, to be honest. It's just crazy nonstop research. But now that I'm in the rhythm of it a little bit, I mean, I'm only 5 episodes in terms of what I've created. I haven't even published it yet. But there's a rhythm that I'm finding. And so a lot of people are really scared of that transition state.
You can't. I mean, every time you start something new, you're going to suck. If you picked up a ukulele or a piano, the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, even a month or two in, you're going to suck at it. But that's a part of like creating something amazing for yourself. So like you said, a podcast, like you're probably not going to know everything the first or second episode, but after that, there's a rhythm coming in, everything's coming together, you're gaining knowledge. I mean, when I started entrepreneurship, I was a complete idiot, but I learned pretty quickly.
You weren't, because you knew that this was something for you.
Yeah, I mean, I follow my heart every day. Like,
and I love that. And I could feel it when I was reading your stuff, which is why I chose you over somebody else. I mean, I'm not saying that from a place of privilege, right? Like, I have way less people than you do, but I just said, you know, I want to be around this energy. I want to be around this guy. And again, he's kind of living a laptop lifestyle, is what you call it, right?
Yeah.
And I eventually want to do that. And that's the first time I say it out loud. So you're helping me kind of break through a little bit. So is there anything else you want to say?
Not really. All right, my purpose is to help everybody live the way they want. A laptop lifestyle is attractive to everybody, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
So follow what you want, learn what you want, try new things, never let anybody tell you what to actually do. Find your purpose and live it. I mean, everybody has one life. So
Agreed. Like, I hate quoting Drake, but I always used to tell my students YOLO, and they would be like, Mom, you're so lame. But I'm like, for real, like, why not just try? Why not just do this? Why am I going to be embarrassed to speak on a microphone? I mean, whatever happens, happens. So there's about a minute left. So real quick, a plug, where can they find Mineset?
Mineset, they can check out my Instagram at I am Colin Heaney, or my business partner at Paulie Long. I can send you our ads after and pop them in there. We can also put the website in. It's www.mindset90daytransformation.com. And I can also send over a link to you after.
I'll post everything.
Awesome. Okay. I will talk to everybody, no matter who comes to me. So if anybody comes to me, then I can talk to them.
Hey, we're barely going to make it. We're clocking out, but don't clock out in your life.
There you go. Love it. Thank you so much.